Aloha kakahiaka, and welcome to this very special episode of Live at the Legislature. Joining us today is Representative Val Okimoto. She's the rep from Mililani, Mauka, and Mililani, and also serves as a member on the Committee on Lower and Higher Education. And with us for the first time, I think, ever on the show is a staff member joining us from the windward side of Oahu is Eric Kamanu. He is a senior legislative analyst for the House Minority Research Office. Good morning to both of you, or all three of you.
Well, Eric and I had a little stint a little earlier. Eric was on the show once with me when you were out.
He said he would never come back, and here we are today.
I think I laughed the most on that episode ever.
Well, Rep, we'll start off with about a week and a half ago, the governor had proposed a pay cut 20% across the board for teachers and first responders. Can you comment on that? I know you had a pretty strong quote.
Yeah, really quickly, and I know that that's kind of been, with the way COVID is working, that becomes outdated news, but there was a pretty big public outcry about that statement that was made by the governor. And, I've always been pretty vocal about supporting our educators and our first responders. So when that was stated, I actually felt it was a pretty outrageous and devastating thing to say, especially when I think about the morale of these people who are going out each and every day. They're the ones at the front lines, and also the educators who are behind the scenes working so hard. And we had just, in the legislature, fought hard to have a pay increase go through the bills. So that was something that I was pretty unhappy about. And I'm hoping, I think since then, it's kind of taken a backseat, and maybe that won't be, something that actually goes through. I'm hoping that we know that we have to adjust the budget with everything that's happened with the economy, but I would hope that we would find a different way. We have to find a different way other than, slashing the pay of our first responders and our educators.
And it's great that you have your daughter right next to you, because that leads to my next question.
So the last time I was on, I went to the office because I found a little corner. I put myself in the timeout corner, but they'll find me. If I lock a door, they'll knock on it. So this is my little 7-year-old that I'm homeschooling right now, trying really hard to homeschool.
So how has that been? You're a former teacher. You're always an advocate for the DOE. So how has it been now teaching your daughter while also having all of the responsibilities of being a representative?
It's kind of been a double-edged sword. I love that I get to be home and do it. I just wish I could dedicate, all of my time to it. And I think it's funny how when I see people posting on social media or others commenting on how they realize how much work goes into teaching children, and I giggle because I know how hard it is. And so it takes balance, and you can see that it's not always fun, perfect, but I'm just grateful for any of the resources that the schools are providing me. I wish I could sit down, like I said, and give all of my time to her, but that's not my only priority. So it has been a juggle trying to balance working in the legislature, making sure that my constituents' needs are being met, and also making sure, because it's very important to me that they get their education. So she has a sister who's also in the DOE, that's a 7th grader. So it's fun, challenging. I miss those days, but at the same time, I'll be honest, the other day I was a little stressed. I felt like maybe I wasn't doing enough for them. And I know I'm not alone in feeling that way. So
Excellent.
Some of friends joining us right now.
And so it's great that we have Eric here, because I wanted to transition to the unemployment claims. We heard that in the last segment, and Eric is one of the House staffers who has volunteered to process the over 300,000 unemployment claims that we've had. And so, Eric, can you tell us a little bit about how that's been?
Sure. So I started last week on Thursday, and it's kind of evolved over time. You can kind of see that they're trying to get the process down, make it faster. So this last time that I went there, it seemed that they had a better cheat sheet. So instead of having like a one-on-one training, because they want to keep people like not so close together, to prevent any spread of diseases, that we just work off of this cheat sheet. So that was a lot better. The room is gigantic, and at any given time, there's hundreds of people in there. I think it's working pretty well as intended. There are some things that I think everything can be improved. I think they're doing good there. One of the things I noticed is that what we're doing in there is more of like an expedition, like an expediting process. So we get the claims, go through it, and filter out inaccuracies in it, so it's more streamlined down the road. So like a lot of those, if they have issues, they have to go back to DLIR where they have to make corrections and do follow-ups. There are a pretty good amount of them. So if we do 10, if you get like a sheet of 10 claims and you do all of them, 9 of them got to go back to DLIR to have followed up on them. So I can see how that is frustrating for a lot of people. There are slow moments, particularly with the website, which we have no control over. But yesterday when I was there, they did announce that they're opening up the call center downstairs. So they're going to be having a lot of staff taking calls now. So hopefully that's going to give people a little bit of ease to walk them through the process of how to get it, tell them exactly where holdups are and stuff like that.
So can you walk us through what a typical day is? I think you go in at 6 in the morning, and the National Guard checks you in, and can you run us through that?
That was new. So when I went in yesterday, I got there like 6:30, and I pulled into the parking structure, and 2 National Guard guys came in, and they're like, ID. I was like, oh, here's my badge, and then so went back upstairs, parked, and then you have to go and you have to get your temperature checked. In the temperature check, I don't know if I just got there at a transitional moment. There was like 8 National Guard people like in a row like this. So it's like you're walking into some like secure facility, and then I just went upstairs, and they're all really nice. The National Guard guys are all really nice. So we get up there, you sign in, and then you go to a computer. It's organized by rows and columns. You get there, you go pick up a sheet of claims, and you just start processing. There's certain sheets for Uber, Lyft drivers, military, federal employees, and then everybody else. So depending on what their previous employment was, depends on how we start sorting things like that.
And how long is your term of volunteering for this?
Well, they ask you to do a week, which makes sense because once you start getting the hang of it, they want to keep you there longer because you're going to be more efficient, and you could potentially start helping new people who come on help process claims. So I'll be, since I'm missing today because I'm here, I'm going to be doing this whole week, and then I'll just do an extra one next week.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for volunteering. It's a crazy time. I think we've got about 30 seconds left. Representative Okimoto, you have a town hall this week, so can you tell us a little bit about that?
Correct. I wanted to quickly plug in. I've been able to join some events in my community. So I've been able to go to one of my schools and help with the grab and go lunches. When I encourage parents, if you have a child any age that needs to go and just kind of get out of the house, that's something I've been doing with my children. I also was able to volunteer with a food bank, Hawaii Food Bank, through a partnership with YMCA, as well as at the schools in my district. But we do have a town hall meeting coming up. We're scheduled to have a virtual town hall this Thursday at 6 p.m. Our first time. You both should be there with me, I think. And we have invited Congressman Ed Case, as well as Superintendent Dr. Christina Kishimoto. And I'm also going to have probably one of my representatives' colleagues from the Education Committee join me. So we're encouraging everybody to join us. This is the best way for us to reach out to our constituents at this time, but also tap into, these other people in leadership roles that can help us figure out our way as we navigate through this COVID-19. We're all going through this together. And I've said that from the beginning. Together, we can come through this and come out on the positive end. It's the only way we're going to get through it. So join us on Facebook Live Thursday, 6 p.m.
Excellent. Thank you both for joining us. Eric, it's good to have you on the show. Hopefully we'll have you again next time. But thanks again to the Olelo staff and for everyone here. We'll see you next week. Aloha.
Bye. Thank you.
doing? We have to go. I'm gonna be late for work.
It's Tuesday morning. I gotta record live at the legislature on Alelo. Senate and House leadership discussing what's happening at the state capitol.
So just watch it on the news tonight. Come on, let's go.
Hey, this is like getting the news before it's news. If only I could get this remote to work.
There. Can we go now?
No DVR? No problem. Watch Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Channel 49.